Hello, a nice day to you. Bankola DM here from Bio Educational Services. In this video, I want to show to you how you can configure your examination settings for your school using the Klacify School Monitor app. So when you log into the app, this is the first interface you see. You click on the options icon. You click on School Portal. Then you click on the options icon of the School Portal, the three lines at the top. Then you click on Exam Records. So over here, you can click on this arrow to select the classes or the class you want to create the exam records for. This is one of the beautiful things of the latest version of the app. You can create a particular setting for a class. That is, you can create different settings for different classes such that the setting of one class will not affect the other classes. For example, if in your lower school, let's say the lower classes, KG, creche, and the rest, you usually use a total score of 70 marks and use the exam, the result sheet that includes writing of remarks rather than scores. You can set their own to be like that. While for the primary classes, you use the normal score type that is usually over 100 and all that. And the setting of the lower classes will not affect the setting of the upper classes. In fact, the setting of one class will not affect the setting of another class. So I want to select the class I want to work with now. I'm selecting primary 6 now. So as you can see, no records found. That's because the place is empty. That's what you are likely going to find in your own too, except if you have a settings for your exams and record in a previous app before. You'll find it here. So quickly, the next thing to do is to click on the plus icon here. When you click on the plus icon, discover that there are many things you can also do here. You can select end of a term exams. This is the regular exam that is done in school at the end of the term. If that is the one you want to create settings for, you select it. You can also do that of the cumulative exams. That is the exam that is done at the end of the session, precisely in the third term, where you have to add the scores of the first term, second term, and third term. Also, you can create exam template for midterm exams. If, for example, in your school, you conduct midterm exam, I don't mean midterm test or CA, I mean exam. There are schools that conduct midterm exams for their students, and they prepare report sheets for that and send to the parents of the students. If that's your school, you are also covered using the app. You just click on this, and you can customize a particular one that you want that is not either of these three. But that is not the goal of creating this video. The goal of creating this video is to show you how you can do the common one, which is the end of the term exam. So I'm going to click on end of term exam, and you fill these requirements, the setting, which session, 2022/2023 session. You select the term, first term, then the report type. Which type are you going to use for primary 6? We have the score type, we have comment type, tick type, and the rest. I'm going to use score type because this is the one that enables the app to add the scores of the children together and automatically generate the report at the end of the term. So under the score type, you are free to select different themes. You just move it. I'm just moving the screen. So whichever color you like best, you choose. So I'm okay with the green. So I'm going to click on select theme. The next thing is to now click on the select score settings. This is important. As you can see, maximum obtainable score at the end of the term by default is 100 because that is what most schools use. So by default it is 100, but you can change it if your own is different. If, for example, in your lower classes, like I said earlier, you use 70 marks, the total score is 70 marks. Maybe their CA is just 30 and their exam is 40. So you are free to edit all this. Just click on this pen icon and you can edit it. But 100 is what we use for the primary 6 in this school, so I'm not going to change that. So the tests are, we have 3 tests by default here and 1 exam. Each of the tests is 30 marks and the examination is 70 marks. But that is not what this school uses. For example, I want to show you, if, for example, in your own school, you conduct 4 tests, 4 CAs, and each of them is for 10 marks, while the examination is for 60 marks. So you can edit all this. So first I'm going to click on the exam to change it to test and edit the score. Just tap on it and change the name. This is test 4. Okay. And the score, I'm going to change it to, score is 10 marks. That's okay. Then click on this test 5. That will be the examination. Okay. And the score would be 60. So test 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of them is 10 marks. That's a total of 40 marks. And the examination is 60. So that's okay. I'll click on the check mark at the top here. So as you can see, it has updated here. Test 1 is 10, test 2 is 10, test 3 is 10, test 4 is 10, and examination is 60. So that is the score type I'm going to use. Next thing is to select the grading system. I'll click on select grading system. Which grading system are you using? Is this simple letter A to F, or when you select the simple letter A to F, you are free to choose the remark for each. That is, if for example, for letter F, which score will a child get that will make that child earn letter F? So you set the lower limit and the upper limit. The upper limit, this means that if the child gets 40 marks, 30 marks, 30 or less, it means the grade the child will get for that a particular subject would be F. Now, if for example your own is not 30, maybe your own begins with from 35, so you are free to change it. You click on it and change it. But I'm not going to change that. It's okay. And if you don't want to use the word fail, maybe you want to use weak or you want to use fair, just click on it and you are free to also change it too. But I'm not going to do that. I just want to show you that that is possible. So that's okay. Then go back now. You can also choose American grading system or WAEC grading system, whichever one you want to use, you are free to use. You click on it. You click on the arrow to do the settings. If you are done with the settings, click OK, go back. Then you click on this circle to select the one you have chosen. You have to click on the circle. So I'm going to use WAEC grading system for this school. Then click on check mark. As you can see, it has updated it to be WAEC grading system. Now, do you want the regenerated report sheet to show the position of the students, that is comparing the scores of the students? Do you want the result to indicate their position as in first, second, third? If you want that, you leave this on like this. But if you don't want that, you don't want any comparison between the children, you can just click on it to switch it off. Many schools want it and some don't want it. So I'm going to switch it on so that the app can generate a comprehensive statistics of the performance of the children for me. So that's why I'm going to leave it on. The next thing is to select which class. You can select the class here. If you didn't select the class earlier on, you can still come here to select the class that you want these settings to work for. So you can select any class. That if you select a class here, for example, Basic 5, it's going to work for Basic 5 alone. But it's Basic 6 I'm working with. So I'll select Basic 6, that's Primary 6. And as you can see, number of students you have in that class is going to show here. A total of 4 students from the selected class will be added to this exam. You can always update this later. So if you want to see the list of the students, just click on View List. As you can see, it has displayed the list of students, and I want all of them to be affected by these settings, so I'm clicking on this. So with this, I am done with the end of term settings for Basic 6. What I have to do now is click on the check mark at the top here. Okay, so now that I've created it, it's going to display here. So let me go back. So if you want to do anything that has to do with the exams scores of any particular class, you just click on the options icon, click on school portal, click on the options icon at the top, then exams and record. So for primary 6, as you can see, it is displaying here because I have created a template for that class. I have done the settings for this class. If you check other classes, let's say basic 5 for example, nothing will be here because I have not created it. So you have to create that of each class individually. So what we have for here, what I've just did now is for basic primary 6.